Welcome to the Floating Dojo. We're going to be going over this Brute Kayo Silver Age deck today. Super stoked to be playing this deck. It's really powerful. It has very consistent output. This is very similar to the precon that's made. There's a little bit of few cards added, a few cards taken out. But overall, it's pretty similar to that deck, just with some more tech and, in my opinion, better blues ratio. And a little less no blocks, I think. I can't remember exactly how many come in the precon. But the equipment is exactly the same. We run beaten trackers for the get out of jail free leg piece. Works really well with cards like Savage Feast, where you're going to be doing the additional discard, draw a card. Works very well with other cards like Bear Fangs, as well as Wild Ride. Wild Ride already has Go Again, so usually you don't need to use it with that one. But beaten trackers on a Savage Feast and Bear Fang's turn can be pretty gross. So pretty much the only leg piece I would really recommend running in that slot. Our arms are running the Blade Beckoner Gauntlets, just good block too. The Knucklehead, I have yet to have a game where rolling Knucklehead was necessary. I think it's possible. I think there can be matchups in situations where you need to roll this to basically win the game or you just lose. But I've yet to really come into that. But it's Temper 2. It's a fantastic Temper 2 headpiece. That's really all that matters to me. When that comes up, I'll share that with you. It might eventually. Mandible Claw for the arm, pretty standard. And then Predatory Plating. This card is super, super powerful, super impactful in the deck. It's basically Tunic that blocks 2. And activate only if you control a card with 6 or more. Pretty much all of our cards are 6 or more, except for some of the 5 powers, like Bear Fangs at 5, but when you trigger the ability, it becomes 7. Sirens is a 5, and some of these blue ones are 5s, but a lot of the time we have mites that we're creating already, or we are swinging a bigger attack than that. So this is almost always online and available for us, which can make us go 3 wide in turns where it really matters, or just break the game like an awkward hand for yourself and turn tempo a little bit. This is a 36 main card deck. I'm running 4 Bear Fangs, red and yellow, 4 Buck Wilds, red and blue, Clash of Agility and Clash of Might. These cards do come out sometimes into like the other Guardian Brute matchups because they clash just as well as we do, and sometimes giving the opponent Agility or Might can kind of just lose you the game. But most of our aggro matchups and other matchups, these are in the deck. We're running Rough Up. It's a Harbor 6 or more in your pitch zone. This gets +1, really good 2 for 7. Savage Feast I touched on earlier. Has an additional cost of discard, triggers things like beaten trackers, creates mites for KO. Great card. Red and yellow Sirens. This really synergizes well with KO's ability to when you're discarding things. So you play a Bear Fangs and you discard a Sirens. That Sirens is going to gain you a health and trigger Bear Fangs' ability. So, a Bear Fangs comes in for 8, you gain a life. It's actually a 2-card 9 instead of being a 2-card 8. And so you're just getting that little extra bit of value can be really helpful, especially in a low life format. So I'm running 4 Sirens, especially because the yellows still trigger KO's ability. 1 in red Wild Rides. I don't run yellows. I think reds are just fine. I think the yellows, we get too many. I think if you're going to run yellow Wild Rides, you can not run yellow Bear Fangs, but I like Bear Fangs more because I think it's just a better 2 for 7. In our blues, we have now a lot of these blues you can absolutely swap out for other things. Some people are writing different stuff in them. I've really liked this suite so far, though, and it puts me right at the 16-16 ratio of blues to reds in the main deck. So running Agile Windup in blue, Assault and Battery. This card can be really good on turn 0 or late game, because if you have a turn 0 where you're just not able to make an agility token with an Agile Windup or even discard a card, you can play the Assault and Battery instead of pitching it away and beat Chest to trigger KO's ability to make a Might token and then create your own ability off Assault and Battery to make the agility token. So it's a really versatile card, and it blocks for 3, which is great. Bear Hug's a new one coming out of Compendium. Play this only if you pitch the card with 6 or more this turn. Almost all of our cards are 6 or more, so this always works. So it's a really good 2 for 5 to come in after in the second attack. Rally the Coast Guard is a great card as well. Gets around things like Dominate, Overpower. Also synergizes with Sirens of Safe Harbor because you can discard, block 5, and gain a life. which I actually showcased this a little bit in one of the matches where it makes a huge difference. Run Roughshod is also probably one of the best blues really you can get. One cost 5, play if you've only discarded a card with 6 or more this turn, which we do pretty often. Smash Instinct is a blue 3 for 5 that intimidates. An Unexpected Backhand, a 3 for 5 that also says when you win a clash with this, deal 1 damage. So this can just deal you damage and win the game sometimes when we're running our clashes of agility and might. So that's our main 36. It's pretty standard, nothing too crazy. This inventory, we throw 4 cards in to kind of set up whatever matchup we're playing into. And a lot of these can fit into the same matches. It kind of just comes off of which one you feel like you're running at the moment and which one's been playing better. Humble is really good into decks that have a very, very important hero ability, like the Mirror, Kayo. I don't know, other heroes that want to make embodiments of lightning and earth, and the Briar. Pretty much any hero that has an ability that is essential to their game plan, I would run Humble. Pulping's very good into decks that don't run D-Reacts or have blocking out of arsenal capabilities. It's a 2 for 6, gets Dominate after we do the draw a discard, makes your might, and then gets to go again if it's defended by 2 non-equipment cards. There is an equipment piece that has been countering this. It's pretty commonly played. It's like one of the new generic legs that just state target attack loses and can't gain Dominate. So kind of watch out for that. If you know they're running that, Pulping may not be the best option, or just remember you're going to have to play around it. And it doesn't block, so kind of remember that when you're playing it. It's still in here. There's a lot of matchups where like there's heroes that have better leg pieces, and you're gonna want to run this because you know that they're not going to have that in their sideboard, or they wouldn't swap their legs out. For example, the Mirror. I mean, I'm not playing anything other than beaten trackers, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Smash Up is a great 1 for 5 into aggro matchups as well. Especially decks like Phi that are running just nothing but attack actions. You could probably run this into, I mean, like I said, really any aggro deck that's running a lot of attack actions, you could run Smash Up. It's a 1 for 5, blocks 2. Strongest Survive, also really good into the aggro decks that run small attacks, a lot of the ninjas, Briar and stuff like that, as well as decks that don't have a lot of attack actions. So some of like the Warriors maybe, though they have been running more recently, especially in the Great Axe decks, because there's a lot of good blues that are attack actions. I'm testing Test of Might. Currently, it's a 4 block, which is really cool. And I think I'm really only trying this in Briar at the moment. I haven't had a lot of Briar matchups. That matchup, honestly, is a pretty hard coin flip. And you just... I think this card it does give you a miss in the deck, which is a little awkward, but like sometimes a 4 block can really make a huge difference, especially on like a burn up shock turn or something. So I've been trying this and I haven't hated it yet, so it's still in there. And then Yellow Buck Wilds. I run these into some of the slower matchups where I can like arsenal more often and not have to throw huge damage turns to survive to take cards from them. So if I'm in a matchup where I know I have more time and a little bit of a slower setup, that I can play 2 cards, Arsenal Buckwild, having 2 more copies is really good. And then the only equipment that I swap here is I run Nullrune Hood for any AB1 or Wizard. I mean, mostly Florian, because a lot of people are playing like this 1-turn kill thing with Florian, which is interesting. Into like Viscerai, Vinset, any of the Rune Chant heroes. And then Scarus Strapping, which I run this into Kano, basically. I don't run this into Icelander. I do run this into Icelander as well. It's just Spell Void 3, and I mean, like, that's crazy. Spell Void 3 is crazy and rare. And the interesting thing with this is that it states if you've pitched a card with 6 or more, it gets Spell Void 3. There's no window for wizards to deal arcane damage to you before or after you've pitched a card. Especially running AB1, you can always pitch 1 and then Spell Void 3. And at the end of your turn, when you move to end, they have to respond prior to you putting your pitch stack on the bottom of your deck. So they're not going to get a chance to deal arcane damage to you while you don't have a card pitched, unless you have no cards in hand somehow, which I'm not sure how you would do that. But Yeah, this is just an insane card, and I think it's probably the reason that we can win the wizard match. Sometimes you just don't, but if you can get it, run it for sure. So that's the deck. I've been playing not a ton of matchups. It's got 36 matches. It's sitting around 78%, which is pretty good. It's had a couple iterations here and there, but I've been really happy with how consistent it has felt the last week or so. So I'm going to have a deck link in the description for you if you want to try it out. And then we have some gameplay here. I believe we're playing into an Ira, into a Lexi, and a Dromai as well. So I can showcase the deck and show you some decisions I made throughout those matches. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the gameplay. We won the die roll. We elected to go first. I think just getting an Arsenal, not letting them Arsenal turn 0 is overall just better than threatening. So we're going to just start off here. We can just make an agility for next turn, which is pretty nice. We can also just Arsenal this pulping and kind of have a go again with that. So I think it's probably better to just swing a Sirens, gain some life, and then Arsenal the pulping. Actually, no, that's wrong, because then we can't make the Might token. I think making the Might token is probably more important. But that's fine. We'll gain our life, we'll Arsenal our pulping. We'll have a Clash of Might to start the turn, so not too bad. Drew blue here too, which is good. So should be able to do some decent damage back this turn, using maybe some of that equipment suite. We'll probably block this Clash of Might. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to block 4 here to start. We'll Clash just so we can get some value. Say they've got a Sirens on top, and they have a red Lightning Surge. Which is good to know for their draw. That'll tell us what they're going to draw off this, so we'll know it's in their hand, at least one of these cards. Curious to see if he uses the bullseyes here. Ooh, discard or pay 1. Yeah, I guess we'll pay 1, right? Okay, so this hand definitely doesn't have as much power now that it did. So the question is, do we just block some of this damage, or do we eat some of it and then throw back like a 7 into maybe something else? We could get a pretty nice draw off of the pulping, so I think I'm going to give that a shot, because I'm going to assume they're going to probably Arsenal that red Lightning Surge, which would make a lot of sense. But we can take 1 there, or take 2 there, that's fine. Oh, they're just going to play it, okay. That's also fine. Yeah, I'm okay taking a little damage here. See what we draw and discard, because we might Predatory Plating here. Yeah, because we hit the Sirens, so that's good. Getting the life off Sirens, that's pretty cool. Don't think we need to beat in trackers here. Have the go again, doesn't need to be done. And we can just use the rough up, the plating for the rough up here for 7 after, which I think is probably the right play. Because there's going to be a pretty fast game, most likely. So putting them to 6 here, or 7 if they block with the boots, is pretty good. And we still have 2, 3 block available. We're at 16. I did draw a Wild Ride too, which is nice. So I think this is a pretty good hand. We just need to not die, so that we can throw it. Now, I'm not pitching a blue here, is pretty nice because it means they have to pitch another card for their Death Dealer, which is cool. Just takes another card out of their hand, really. Arc Bending for 5 with the Electrify is going to be 6, 7, 8, right? If this hits us, it'll put us down to, it would deal 6, 7, 8, 9 to us. So it puts us to 7. I think I'm okay with that. Does it have like an on hit? I'm going to gamble here. I hope he doesn't press. Okay, cool. Cool. So it puts us to 6. He has Bullseye Bracers if he wants to do one more swing. We can block 3 on that. And then we'll have a 2-turn, a 2-swing, maybe even a 3. If we can draw like a 2-power attack, we'll be able to go Wild Ride into Claw into something else, which would be pretty safe. With them at 7, yeah, I'm going to block 3 here on that. Go to 4. We have the Might too, which makes our Wild Ride come in for 7, so it's just lethal off the rip, which is pretty cool. I'm going to pitch away probably that. I'm not really sure it matters. Oh, wow, we draw Stronger Survive. That's pretty good. You don't need 2 Beaten Trackers again, though. Fine, no. The only downside is that this costs 3 and this costs 2, which is 5. We only have 4 resources, so we're going to have to pitch just a Stronger Survive here and not the Claw, which is a bit of a bummer. But I think it's enough, because they're going to probably either have to lose a card here or give us like 2. They're going to have to block. Yeah, I mean, they have to block their whole hand most likely here, unless they have a D-React, which I would. I saw him pitch one away earlier, so I doubt they'd have another one. Oh yeah, he just didn't have the last block because he had a press in hand. Makes sense. Super solid game. I think timed that out pretty well going first. Just kind of drew our power faster. They had a pretty good first turn, but we were able to just. We don't really have a super impressive first turn, but we can go 2 wide, which might be nice just to deal some damage if they're on some sort of an aggressive package. Going Buckwild into Sirens is pretty good here. The only other option, because I really don't want to Arsenal any of these, so I think I'm just going to play this blue Buckwild into a Sirens. We don't get to Arsenal. We don't get to make a Might, which is a little unfortunate, but we do deal some damage, possibly. If not, we gain a health, which is just good. Turn 0. The other option we have is we could have Clawed here and then Arsenal like the Sirens, but I don't really think I want a Sirens in Arsenal. It took a Humble and a Looking for a Scrap out of their hand, though. That's pretty good. So we don't have to worry about 2 of those this game. So we'll deal 1, take gain 1, which is, yeah, good turn 0 overall. And then hopefully we draw some nice, yeah, Wild Ride, Buckwild. I kind of like, there's a lot of good options here. Coming in for 4, our hand converts pretty well. Question is how much extra damage they're going to present after this. I think it's okay to give up some equipment early in this matchup to get a health lead so that you can take a big swing later. I don't think that's too big of an issue. I think we can get the Beaten Trackers, though, and block with that. We'll block 4 here. Just stop the Tiger creation because that's just a free damage. They haven't used their equipment yet, which means they're not going to just blow it up for value quite yet. So we're not too worried. We'll let that Kodachi for 2 hit. That's fine. Not too scary. Take the other Kodachi. Go to 18. Okay, Nice. And then they just don't have another attack, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it's going to Arsenal his last card. Yeah, so I think that was a pretty decent... Yeah, that was a pretty decent play. I'm going to play the Wild Ride just so that we can make the Might token for next turn. We discard a Clash of Might. It's awesome. Not going to beat Trackers here. They're not on an Arsenal, which they didn't Arsenal their card last turn, which is interesting. So it makes me wonder if it's like a block card or something. And they couldn't have pitched block card to Kodachi, but I would have thought they would have pitched... Yeah, they had, okay, that makes sense. I figured as much, because they can't pitch that to Kodachi. But I'm surprised they didn't pitch it to the Flex Clause. That's fine, though. I am honestly going to just pass from here, because I want to set up a big turn. Dang, we didn't even draw blue for that Buck Wild. That's unfortunate. Then another dereacted hand, though, which is fine. We got some Clashes and some Sirens in this hand, which is... I think we can get use of those. I think we can block with that Sirens there, and then we can probably just Strongest Sirens for... Or, I'm sorry, Strongest Survive for 8. On this next one. Try and threaten some... Just gain a life, go up to 16. This should disrupt a little bit. If we had drawn a blue, this would have been a really good hand, but alas, we did not. Yeah, hopefully they give us 2 cards maybe here. And we still have almost all of our equipment available, which is really nice. They do have a Tiger Eye Reflex, so they've been just drawing a lot of defensive cards, which is probably why they haven't thrown much at us yet. But they're blocking 5, or so they're going to probably show like a Snatch or something. Or a Cut Through, maybe. No, Snatch, wow. Pro gamer over here. Reading their cards before they even show them. Alright, so it's good to know they have a Snatch. Give us a little intel. I'll probably save the 2 equipment block for the Snatch, because we know it's going to be coming. I like this hand a lot, actually. With only 1 blue, it might be rough, depending on what we draw. But I think this is a pretty good hand. Because we have that Buck Wild sitting there. If we had another blue, this hand would be insane. But we only have the 1, which is fine. This just makes your next Tiger. So we know they have a Snatch in hand, right? So they're going to go 4, 1, 4. So I'm okay. Oh, okay. I meant to block with the Gauntlets, but I guess I could just block with the Gauntlets on something else. I'll block on this Tiger. Because then we can get the 1 block on a Kodachi later. I think that works out fine. I don't think it really matters which one we block with it there. And then we have the 4 block for the Snatch, which is perfect. Our equipment chilling here. Unless he's going to hold it, which is really interesting. He is going to hold it. I wonder if he's trying to bait it so that we'll pop the plating or need the plating before we get the block. It's a really interesting idea. I don't want to waste Beaten Trackers here while I have a Wild Ride. So that's fine. So we drew and discarded the same card. That's cool with me. No, and then we will KO. And we're just going to go into a Bear Fangs after this for 8, which is good. We know they just have the Snatch in Arsenal. So I think the goal here is take a pretty good chunk of their health here, and then they swing back and we kill them on the next turn with a nice Buck Wild turn on the Might for 8 go again. Or they full block this, send the Snatch, and pass. Nope, okay. So yeah, we put them to 9. Gonna gamble one's a blue, one's something else, and then a Snatch to finish. 2 run rough shots. Fantastic. I think it's worth to use the Blade Beckoner here, because that allows us to just save a little more health. Take 2, go to 8, see what their other card in hand is, because that will kind of dictate what. It's a Torrent of Tempo. Okay, and they know our last card. We know their last card is a Snatch. So we can block this out with the 2 cards in the arsenal. We have a Buckwild, but we'd be able to Savage Feast pitching this, and then we would discard the other Roughshod, which is kind of a little. The other thing is they take 9, but then they could also just pop the Pouncing Paws and Shuko, and it'd be 2 more, and that would kill us from there. So I think we have to block this out, unfortunately. And I really, really want to use the Savage Feast here. But realistically, Buckwild for 8. Let's think on this block for a minute, the math here. So we have Buckwild for 8 into Buckwild for 6, which is 14 if we throw the Savage Feast here. If we block with a Buckwild and we hold the Savage Feast, we pitch the Savage Feast for 7. Throw the Savage Feast for 7. Pitch the Roughshod. And then we would draw a card. We would discard the other one. We'd have 2 floating. This would come in for 7, and then this would come in for 8. We'd have to draw a blue or a yellow. If we draw a red, we don't get to play all 3. But that is probably the gamble we have to take. I think, because we can use Beaten Trackers, I think that's the best play we have. And even if we draw a good red, we can just swing the other good red after and save this still. We will pop Beaten Trackers here. Pray it's a blue. Okay. Probably the worst possible card we could have drawn, because it's a red 3 cost, so we can't even swing it. So we're going to use Predatory Plating here and then throw that for 7. And Force Disruption. Really wanted to go Claw into the Buckwild. If we drew a blue, we would have been able to, but alas, that is Brute Life at its finest. But this is still decent. We can use the plating now, and this still threatens their a card out of their hand, which I think is pretty good. Bit of a bummer to lose the plating rare, but I mean, at 9-8 health, we're probably at that point now where it matters. And they most likely just have to give me. They block 4. They're taking 3. They got to show up 4 or higher. I can't imagine they're holding something that they can do that with. Oh, okay, perfect. So it's Somersault. So that hits, deals 3. So now they just have the Snatch and Arsenal. We have 1 block on the Knucklehead, so we just need a 3 block that we can stick in front of it. Okay, they're going to do their turn here with that. I'll take 2. I don't know what the top of their deck is, which is a little unfortunate, but this is for 5. So we have an option. We can rally the Coast Guard here and then go Sirens for 7. Pass, go gain a life, stay at 7. Other option we have is block with a Sirens, a Knucklehead, and a Buckwild, and then throw Bear Fangs for 8. Which is also pretty good. Block 5 is a little unfortunate that we would have to give up our Knucklehead, because we don't have to. Like, we could just. Oh, actually, we could block with this. Discard. Yeah, okay. This is the best play. Block with that. We instant use that ability, discard the Sirens, gain a health off Sirens, cover up 5, save the Knucklehead for another turn. Huge play. This is why they pay me $0 to stream, because I make good plays like that. And then we can Bear Fangs for 8, making a Might. I think that's the most value we could get out of that turn. That does now put us at a point, though, where they can keep probably 3 cards, which is kind of scary, but this Blood Scent is kind of useless unless they have a Tiger, so possibly their chest piece is garbage. If we hold a blue, we can throw Buckwild for 8 on whatever our next turn. We have Knucklehead to block still. We're at 7. I mean, we can take a little damage and still do the thing, so yeah, I think we're still looking okay. It'll really come down to this, what they have on this turn. There's a lot of blue, so that's nice. Take 1. I don't think we're going to be blocking Kodachis at all right now, because on hits are way more important. Like that. Humble's a great card right now. But we can block 6 and 1 is 7. I actually don't care, though, to be humbled this turn, funny enough. Doesn't do anything to me. So we could theoretically block 3 and then go Buckwild for 8 into Buckwild for 7. Oh no, we wouldn't be able to because these wouldn't have the pitch card. But we would be able to go Claw. No, that wouldn't work either. Because I really want to save that Knucklehead. Really, really do. We block with the Buckwild. But then it still wouldn't trigger with that. I think we actually have to... Man, had to be humble. Huh? Had to be humble. If we block... This is a really hard block decision. I really want to stay as high as possible so that I can take Kodachis in the next turn or two. Block 7, go Buckwild, Arsenal the other Buckwild. Let's just throw 8. Do lose our thing here. I really think we have to like block 2 and then discard this on his turn. If we block 2 here, take 5, go to 1, and then we discard this on his end step, we can go 8 into 3, but he has the Blade Beckoner, which makes that gain value. Alright, we're going to try this. I think this is probably all we can do. He doesn't have another Humble, so he can't do this again. We most likely get 3 cards here from him. Yeah, that is a second Humble, so... Oh wow, yeah, the second on the horizon, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, Arsenal. Because the other option we had was blocking with something else, but I just think we needed to try and keep a Buckwild in there. We do have a Clash here of Agility, which is pretty good. 4, 3. Doesn't have Go Again, and he doesn't have a way to give it Go Again. I think we're okay doing that. Yeah. Take 1, he draws a card, but then we can just swing twice now. We can go... Yeah, Savage Feast into a Bear Fangs. Yeah, this should be good here. This should be game. Him not having Go Again on that turn really killed him. I'm guessing he didn't have a blue either. which is, oh, is a Tiger Eye Reflex. Again, not Kadachiable. So that's relevant. This would be for 7, so would that. I think I'd rather throw that so I don't have a no block around. 10 to 11 cards in deck. He's at 10. He's going to have to give me 2 cards here again. Hopefully we can just take Kadachi Tiger. Because we have to remember Claw can be blocked for 1 by the Blade Beckoner, which is relevant. I think, though, if we should be able to eat whatever he throws next turn and not die. Kind of the goal here. He's got one more looking for a scrap in the deck. Does he have the other on the horizon, or did he use both of them already? Yeah, he's used both. Okay, so unless he's running like Test of Strength or something, which I highly doubt he is. Oh, Siren's nice. Gain health after the fact. Go back to 2. Cool. This is a pretty good hand. Alright, I love that it's his Kadachi's because it's face up completely. So we know exactly what's coming. It's going to be 1, 2, or 1 into 1 into 1, which will put us down to 2, but we can keep our whole hand then, and we can throw... Actually, we don't keep our whole hand, but we could. I don't think it matters because we're going to be able to go 8 into 8. Yeah, I don't think it matters. We would just arsenal a card after this, but I mean the odds that they're going to be able to survive, they can't survive 16 on 4 cards. No equipment block available. So we should be good to go here. This should be, geez. This is a really close game though. Them not swinging that snatch for so long was really hard to play around, I feel like. But thankfully, we got there at the end. Again, I think that one turn where they just couldn't swing did it, and then we were able to keep the pressure up and keeping that Buck Wild and Arsenal for so long too, I think, allowed us to pivot eventually and take that win. So really consistent output and really close game. All right, we are running another one here into Dromai. Pretty normal loadout, it looks like, from there, and I really love this new headpiece. But we're just gonna go. We have a discard and agile windup, which is nice. Just gonna do that off the rip because that'll just give us both our might and agility for next turn. And then I think we just throw. We could just throw this humble, but it feels so bad because they're just gonna block it out. So I think I'm just gonna choose to do the assault and battery here, just to throw a little bit of damage. I don't really want them doing too much stuff anyway. I mean, they're probably not going to. A lot of people are running the old headpiece that you pitch 3 and then draw a card. They're not, so I'm not too worried about them getting to like filter theoretically. Seeker's Leggings is a really interesting card. I've not ever considered that, but I mean, yeah, you get to pay 1, up 1, prevent 1, which is Ash Creation on turn 0. That's pretty good. And I would have gone with the Shroud personally, I think, but I guess what do I know? I'm not playing Dromai. I would think the Ponder is more powerful than the Spectral Shield on turn 1. Then you can just dump your hand. But Rabble showing a Rabble. Okay, well, I'll Clash of Might here because I know I'm going to have a card that's higher than Rabble. And I'll give him a Predatory Plating as well. So I'll take 2 mites because we're going to be able to come in with a humble with Go again, which is really good. It's very good. When they threw Mirror Guy out, so that's cool with me. 2 damage is fine. That's not the end of the world. I'd rather just... They have no arsenal. They only have 2 ward available, which is Sweet. 2 mites. So we could go humble here. Yeah. To Dromai. Force a bunch of cards out of their hand. And then we can buy Sirens for 6 after this. Gain a health. And either they're going to take a bunch of damage or we're going to get to have a full hand next turn because they're not going to play much of anything. Go guard roll 2. Nice. And then the shield and the ponder. Okay, yeah, I guess both of those are fine, huh? Sirens. I really hate having Mirror Guy on the field. I really do. They did pitch a Kyloria, so I'm like, I don't think I care too much though at this moment because I still have so much equipment block available. I don't have to block stuff from hand right away, so I can get around the Mirror Guy. I can still block the first dragon or so and be okay. Whereas maybe a little later, I'm not gonna. Okay, so they don't have. That's coming next turn. It's good to know. I love this hand. I'm taking 4. This is a good hand. Yeah, I'll take 2 from Mirror Guy as well. That's fine. Asvil is like somewhat of a fear later on, but for now it's fine. I'll give him 2 there. We'll keep the Knucklehead around for a 2 block later. Because I think that's could be nice to cover up something awkward with a snatch or something. Let's go Wild Ride. Pitch that. Dang. Okay. Well, that sucked. I didn't want to lose the rough shot and draw the same card. Unfortunately, that wasn't the plan. But that's okay. Dude, they're second on the horizon, so that's both their 4 blocks out. They saw him pretty early, which is not great for us. But I think that's 4 health. I can't even kill it with Claw, which is a little unfortunate. I imagine they're going to probably do a bit of a setup turn here, though, because they have that red Ancestry aura. That was a pretty rough banish. I wonder if we go Buckwild first into the other one, because then we would have been able to guarantee the 2 wide. And then whatever we ended with, maybe Claw with the plating or something. But that's okay. That's okay, that's alright. Asvali is kind of annoying this early on. Or this late into the game, but I'm going to do the 2 block there. That's a dragon that we're going to have to kill. But we have Claw for that, so that's fine. They probably just throw the, Essence of Ancestry in first. We go Buckwild here for sure. Doing that into that. Hopefully we'll just get some cards from him. I think we have to kill Mirror Guy this turn, which is really unfortunate. We haven't discarded a card with 6 or more either this turn, so we can't really do the thing. But it's going to prevent damage from the next red source now. Does it to hero? You would be dealt pro damage by a red source. I don't think that means that it would prevent... Huh. Interesting, it does. Okay, well, I guess that means that we need to... I didn't realize that does it to dragons too. It's so sad. Funny enough, we might use the plating just so we can bear hug Mirror Guy. Arsenal the rough up for some damage later, just so we can kill it so that we can pop the dragon. They have no ash, so if they have hands of dragons, they can't do anything with it, and we have a popper. It's not the popper I want. That's fine. I drew the second one. That's funny. Okay, well, we can Savage Feast into Dromai, pitching that. We will beat in trackers here. Gain a life off Sirens. Pretty good. Pretty good. We can Buck Wild after this, kill the dragon. Or Asvalai is only 3 health actually, so we can claw Asvalai. Which is gross. This still is active for the rest of the turn, so I can't even deal damage to him. So I'm just going to pass. Kind of awkward. They're going to get a full hand, but whatever. I can't do anything about it. We'll block with a Clash of Agility here. Okay, so we got Dust Up on top, another Clash of Agility. Now they can make a dragon, make another mirror guy. Oh yeah, mirror guy costs 1, that's right. We'll block. I'll block 1 here. I'm really curious what their arsenal is. I have a feeling it's like a sand cover or something, and they just haven't been able to. Oh, Skittering Sands. Oh, okay, that's cool. We have agility, so we can go twice. That's cool. Which means we can go rough up into Claw off of 2 reds. Kill the Ashwing. Do we kill the Ashwing? Surely we probably kill the Ashwing because we're smart and we should. I think we have to. Yeah, I think we have to. Claw doesn't kill Mirror Guy, which is sad. But I don't want to leave another Ashwing around. Oh, we do have a Might, though. So, Mandible Claw into Mirror Guy for 4 does kill it. Cool, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. So they have no dragons, they have no Ash. And they have no Nimblisms and no 4 blocks, no Advanced History. So they're gonna have to just have like a good red hand, which they probably have Rabbles still. Oh, they played both their Rabbles. They're gonna need to make Ash some way, I think, to make this hand function. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. Get around some stuff. Nice. Clash of Agility here. They have a Yenderai. We got a Rough Shed on top. Or Run Roughshod. Oh, that's annoying. I don't really want to let him draw a card here, but then I don't get to do anything. That's alright, I guess. I guess it's better than them getting a Yenderai in an arsenal. Well, they have no Ash, so they wouldn't be able to use it anyway. Man, if only we had... I think we genuinely have to block 4 here, which is what it is. We could just pitch to Claw for 3, or we could just, I think we just Arsenal Bear Fangs, to be honest. Yikes, 2 non-blocks is not good when we're at 4 health. At all. Not played another red card yet. Which is good, but they have to pay one, so they'll make an Ash. Yeah, this may be it. Having 2 no blocks here is pretty rough. But we'll block 3 with the Clash of Might. Got Sirens on top, which they can't go again, right? There's no way. If only I could have kept that. If they'll draw a card, that's fine. They can't play it or anything. Bear Fangs for 8. Gain a life. It's like, okay. I mean, deals damage. If we only had one of those and we could have kept the other one in hand, So we wouldn't have been able to pitch to Wild Ride into the Bear Fangs. That would have been so crazy. Nah, we would have needed another resource, but still, we could have played Claude if it was left, just for damage. They don't have a ton of like really good power turns left, and us still at 4 feels good, especially with a good amount of our no blocks gone. I think. It's hard to tell. The 2 at the bottom now. Okay, so there's 1. Okay, so I'm gonna block with Savage Feast because that card is almost impossible to pull off at the moment. Plays Headlong. Block 3, take 1, go to 3. That's a Yenderai if I remember correctly, and I don't think they can play that. That costs a good amount, which means we can Bear Fangs again for 9, which is pretty good. We might be able to sneak this one out. I think, what does Yenderai cost? I can't remember. I don't play Dromai ever, so I don't know how much that costs. I think we might sneak through this. I think they need a yellow or blue probably to be able to pay. Oh, it's 1 cost. Okay. So they're probably going to be able to... Oh, no, there's going to be Passing Mirage. Okay. Well, that means that we can do some stuff. We unfortunately can't Bear Fangs after this, but we can go this into Claw. And they have that Yenderai in Arsenal. I think we probably kill... Here's the question. Do we kill the Passing Mirage? Or do we kill... or force a card out of their hand? We have so many poppers. I think it's probably better to kill the Passing Mirage. And then just Arsenal this. Drew 2 poppers, which is good. I think their only play right now is to try and get Yenderai out. And okay, so they're just going to do that and then transform 1. Okay, so we can block 3 here. I probably should have blocked with the Bear Hug. That's conditional to play, but that doesn't really matter. I think we can pop that with a 2 block just fine, because they're only on 4 cards in deck. Yeah. And we can throw 7. They're going to have to block with probably 3 of them, and then pitch to Yenderai. We Arsenal, and then we can probably pop the Yenderai. I think we're okay unless we draw too many no blocks, to be honest. Which, you know what? I'm not even going to Arsenal because I want to guarantee that I draw a popper to make sure that I can kill it, which is, I am glad I did because I didn't draw one past that. And we'll smash Instinct Intimidate for 5 to kill him. That was a crazy game. We ended up basically decking them, but I am pretty proud of the way we were able to get through that matchup, having the 2 no blocks that one hand. The Sirens did a lot for us to gain health throughout that game. Gaining 3 on the play of that was... but yeah, that was a super good game. Super good game. Yo, thank you guys for watching those matches, checking out the Kayo deck. I have my ProQuest Silver Age event this weekend. I'm probably going to be picking that deck down. I'm super stoked to maybe get my invite. If not, we got some CC coming up after that. So going to be doing some more Katsu content after this weekend with the Silver Age event. Probably going to do a few more Silver Age decks just in general too, because I know that my Silver Age is early in the season. So I know we had a request. Excuse my pause there. We had a request for a Benji deck tech, so I'm going to be doing that here in the next week or 2 as well, so we can get that out to you guys. So thank you guys again for supporting the Floating Dojo. Super appreciate it. You guys are putting me up to 200 subscribers almost right now, which is awesome. So thank you again. Super stoked for Compendium too. I am getting my case, I believe, tomorrow. And I may be doing an opening video on here as well, or maybe some shorts. So Keep an eye out for that. Thank you again for supporting the Floating Dojo, and we'll catch you next time.